Hello and welcome to Ketterick Farms. We're back with another episode of the Westby Wisconsin Revised map, and we had a little bit of rain yesterday, stopped us from continuing to do our spring tillage, and that rain passed overnight, and we've given the ground a few hours to dry up here. In fact, it wasn't raining all through the night, so we've still got the wet dirt indicator here, but I think we're going to go ahead and get out here and give it a try. Because if we look at the weather radar here, we're going to get a bunch more rain this afternoon and a bunch more rain tomorrow. So we need to take advantage of this relatively dry morning that we're going to have here and go ahead and get this tillage knocked out today. And so we're going to have to probably set up our GPS track again, I'm just realizing. So we'll go ahead and do that on the first pass here. Try and see if we can remember what ankle we were going at here. Looking about right. There we go. That should hold us there on that line that we were on previously, I hope. I probably should have saved that track, but we'll be fine if we can make it through this short run. And then it won't really matter here for the longer runs. It looks like we're just slightly off, maybe by half of a degree, but that's okay. So we've been going on this series here for a little while, having a blast. We've got a little bit of tillage to wrap up here, and then we're going to be jumping into spring field work here, spring planting here before too long, which I'm really getting excited for. We've got to set our width, it looks like. There we go. Always helps when you set up GPS correctly. That looks better. Alright, so we got a little distracted setting up the GPS and got off course here. Happens from time to time. This thing just does not quite turn sharp enough. Like, I guess you wouldn't want to actually hit your tires on the axle, but I feel like I could get just a smidge more turning radius there and be able to put this thing right back into the same row a little bit easier. Seems to be a pretty standard problem with these older tractors, is not being able to turn tight enough. We've talked about it before, but I really need my wheel brakes. So I'm going to lift up as we go over these grass passes, and when we go to do our headlands, we'll come back and take that one time around each of the grass areas. I think that's going to be the best way to go about this. We've got a little bit of cleanup to do, but we're just trying to take advantage of GPS to make our lives a little bit easier without breaking the rules, so to speak. I feel like I wouldn't want to tear up our grass areas. It would defeat the purpose of the grass, trying to cut down on the amount of soil erosion we've got. And that looks like it's perfectly aligned there. Couldn't have planned that if I wanted to. So I think I'll turn back downhill here and clean up these areas that are there real quick since we're here. I might even just skip a row here and grab this part, maybe take it up and around since we're here and we've got a double headland that we're going to have to do. Yeah, I figure we've got enough bits and pieces on this headland that I can just take this up and around since we were aligned for that anyway. And then bring it back down, and I'll be back down on that end ready to head on over to the other end of the field. So much back and forth, figuring out the best way to cover the ground with as little downtime as possible. So with that, let's jump into a little bit of a time lapse. We've got a ton of field work to do today, and so we'll check back in a few minutes.
Been walking round in circles, wondering where to start. This long overdue conversation, why we're falling apart. Awake, tossing and turning, one more endless fight. Since I heard you were talking to someone else last night. Thank you for making it easy to leave. Thank you for letting me know how I feel. It's the heart that hurts the most, but I'm ready to let go. So now I thank you for making it easy to leave. I can hear myself breathing as I walk out the door, like a house caught on fire. There's no way back to before. Thank you for making it easy to leave. Thank you for letting me know how I feel. It's the heart that hurts the most, but I'm ready to let go. Maybe it's better for the both of us. It's just a sad way to end. I thought we were the exception, but there's no way to mend. So now I thank you for making it easy to Thank you for making it easy to leave. Thank you for letting me know how I feel. Thank you for making it easy to leave. Thank you for letting me know how I feel. It's the heart that hurts the most, but I'm ready to let go. Thank you for making it easy to leave.
So we're almost done with our tillage here. We're on to the last field, and I think we got some headlands left on this big middle field here. We just plowed under that little bit of bean straw that we'd created at the beginning of the season. Talked to a bunch of people. I'm wondering how efficient baling is really going to be for us, especially because we can't afford the equipment. But we're going to find out at some point here. We've got that big grass field down here that we haven't done anything with yet. I was tempted to try and get down in there and maybe put some crops in, but just looking at the way the field is laid out, I think we're going to have a really hard time trying to do anything arable down there. So it's best to leave it as grass, I think. And we'll get back down in there and try that out here at some point. I've lost track of where we're at from a GPS perspective. I think we need to actually be up here a little bit. Like so, maybe? There we go. I thought it would be just easier to take that headland pass off to begin with. And so we're a few passes away here. I don't know, we've probably got 5 minutes of tillage left. And we've been doing pretty good. If we turn our HUD back on here, this hasn't taken too long, about a half an hour to do all of this tillage, which really isn't too bad. And we're definitely beating out the rain, so we don't have to worry about that. And there goes our wet crop symbol. So we're even dry ground right now, which is where I would have ideally wanted to be for tillage, but you could get away with doing it while it's a little sticky out sometimes. I think it's a little bit easier to do tillage than it would be to try and plant when it's too wet out. So that's what we're doing here. Just trying to pick up this tillage around our waterways without taking out too much of the grass. Get line back up here. So yeah, we're gonna try and speed up the time-lapse segments a little bit. Typically I run them at 4x, but for slower jobs like tillage, I'm gonna try 8x out for this episode and see how that looks. If it's too fast, we'll go back to 4x in the future and maybe just cut out some segments. I've had a lot of comments. People really like to see the whole job done on camera rather than just jumping past big chunks of a job. So I'm in an attempt to do that, I'm going to leave everything in and do it at an 8x rather than keeping it at my typical 4x and then just cutting segments out to make an episode the right length. So definitely let me know what you think as we get into trying some of these different things out in episodes. And then as always, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Something like 70% of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel. I'm really looking forward to our next job, which is getting back into planting here. For some reason, putting crops into the ground, taking crops out, always the more engaging jobs for me. I feel like you're actually doing something that accomplishes something that moves you along. All the steps are necessary, but for whatever reason, planting is one of those jobs that you feel accomplished. Especially because I typically use planters that also fertilize. It's like I'm getting multiple things done in a pass and really moving things along. Plus, it's nice to get your tillage in, but without planting, I think I just bumped that tree. Without planting, it's, you could still get rained out and have no harvest for the year. So, it's one of those milestone jobs. I forgot to lower our implement there, so just getting squared back away. We've got this last round here, and then we'll be over to the headlands, it looks like. So this tractor and chisel plow, whatever you want to call this, field cultivator, working really well for us. It's perfect size equipment for this this farm, these fields. So realistically, I mean, being able to get most of our spring tillage done here in, between the two episodes, about an hour. Not really so bad, at least by farm sim standards. In real life, that would be amazing. But yeah, I don't feel like this tractor is oversized for the fields or the farm by any means. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to come up here to the top. Oh, we're just going to till it while we go. I was going to go up to the top and then take the headland back down, but if we're going to drive that way anyway, we might as well just take care of it while we go. And we can always, once we're back down, we can come back around the other end. So we'll hit this and just keep trucking here. Now I can't remember how much of the other headland bits I've done already. That was the problem. I did a bunch of them as I went, just because I felt it would be more efficient because I was right there. Especially this bottom field. I think everything in this back bottom field is completely done. So we're going to turn, and it looks like I've got to do this long stretch here. So this is working out perfectly for us. Drop our implement a little bit too soon there. It looks like some of the crop textures got painted into the grass, so you can still see the soybean stubble underneath the edge of the grass there, which is interesting. The little things that I've been paying more attention to as I've started working on sorting out my own map making capabilities. So I've always wanted to make a map, and I've been working slowly on learning some of the details that go into map making. That is not something that's going to happen anytime soon, but hopefully at some point here before FS19 is done and the next game is released, I will put out my very own map based on the areas that I used to farm when I was growing up. I thought it would be a fun exercise to try out. Always looking to learn something new and really just pick up new skill sets on my own. I do enough minor edits and things to maps for my series that I thought it would also help me out with being able to make some more changes and things to maps when I really want to just lay things out maybe a little bit differently or fix an issue with a map that's causing me some heartache. We're going to fold this guy up, I think, and run up here through the yard to get back down to the other end of that field. Always tricky getting through the yard here. There we go. And I think really the only thing left to do is clean up a couple of small parts here in this bottom field and that corner of that big middle field. So if we get this unfolded like so, drop our cultivator back into the ground here. And just clean up these little nibbits. We'll be good to go. Perfect width. Now the trick is, can I make this corner without putting it into the fence? There we go. Good enough. So yeah, this has been a lot of fun. It went better than I expected. I was expecting more rain based on the forecast in the previous episode. And so I'm really excited to be able to get through this job. Now the question will be, is there going to be a big enough break in the rain so that we can get our seed in a day or so here, once the ground temperature warms up just a little bit more. I think we could probably put some seed in and expect the ground temperature to stay warm enough, but really we're looking for about 50 degrees Fahrenheit for our corn and soybeans, according to seasons at least. And so we've got to kind of follow the rules for seasons to make sure that our crops survive the weather. And so that's going to wrap up this job and I believe the episode for today. Really appreciate you watching. That's all for today. Ketterk.